What is going on, everybody? We are here back once again at WCW Monday Nitro, joined as always by the one and only Chris Mullins Jr. This time with special guest Dane. Feel free to say hi, goodbye, call us out, laugh, cry, all the above.
Yeah,
Oh
this is Nitro. You're allowed to say whatever you want on Nitro.
Oh my god, give me a free mic. So I'm gonna say it, brother.
We're not gonna give
This
you another
show
free mic after last time, but
is better than WWE's shitty Raw, brother.
it actually usually is. So, because we're on the Monday Night Wars, actually, part
Yeah, the
two.
Monday Night Wars.
Fletcher Googly.
I'm actually winning the Monday Night Wars handle.
Yeah, so for Backstage, there's actually a Monday Night War, and a Friday Night War, and a Wednesday Night War. So it is WWE, Nitro versus Raw. There's AEW Dynamite versus NXT Weekly, and then there's Friday Night SmackDown and Friday Night Thunder going head to head. So, but I'm a B show, so I get penalized, so that's fun. But most of the time, we're doing really good against SmackDown. Haven't really been keeping up with Wednesdays, but that's besides the point. Kicking off here, I see an interesting AEW guy here. What's going on here?
Okay, so yeah, you see a little bit of an interesting concept going on here. So let me paint the picture here for you. So Eddie Edwards comes out to open up the show. Says he had to make a few phone calls to some very powerful people after realizing that things may not be going his way at Great American Bash because he has to take on the NWO's new chosen one, Davey Boy Smith. So he decided he's going to keep the NWO out of this whole thing and says their match at Great American Bash is going to be a steel cage match, and no one in the NWO can stick their nose in his business when it comes to his championship. Those comments bring out the NWO exotic, well, at least part of the NWO exotic. You got Davey Boy, Alexander Hammerstone, and Eric Bischoff come on out. Eddie says, I figured things would go this way when I made the announcement on the cage match. So I decided to put in a couple calls to a couple friends. Firstly, this man is no stranger to being held down by the NWO. Ladies and gentlemen, Humberto Garza. With that, Humberto runs down the ramp past the NWO and slides on into the ring to join Eddie. And then Eddie gets back on the mic and says, and the next man who is going to challenge Alexander Hammerstone is the man who's going to challenge Alexander Hammerstone for the North American Championship at Great American Bash. And the whole NWO is looking kind of shocked. With that, RVD comes through the crowd with a steel chair and gives the good guys the advantage. So Rob Van Dam is officially WCW. He is facing Alexander Hammerstone at the pay-per-view. And Eric Bischoff smirks after seeing this. He gets on the mic and goes, please remember, I always have a plan. Now, Spud might have gone AWOL. I don't know where he's at these days, but James Corden did give me an idea after he made a wise crack about us being short one little Brit. With that, the lights go out. When they turn back on, Pac is in the ring with an NWO shirt on, and he takes out Garza as a giant brawl ensues as we head to our first commercial break. End scene. Well, we come back from commercial break. We got a little bit of a flock talk. We got the flock talking. Okay, Mike Bennett will be taking on Bagul at the pay-per-view in a Darkness Falls match, but they don't really know what's going on with any of this stuff. They don't know where Rosemary's been. They have not seen her or heard from her since she's been abducted. And they're talking to Mike Bennett. Mike, you have a chance to bring some gold to the flock tonight for the hardcore title. Go in there and get this victory versus Charlie Tiger. Come show us that. Make the flock proud. And see.
You got this, Mike. You got this.
And Mike will go out there. It was a pretty good match, but Charlie Tiger will get the win. Charlie Tiger's getting better.
Yeah, they actually have good chemistry working together. Who would have guessed?
I might have to remember that for the future. Take that note down real quick.
Write that down. I'm too busy trying to think of Pac in an NWO black and white t-shirt, how I can Photoshop that. So I was like, that'd be cool.
Okay, and the next segment, which, yeah, but that was a good visual image. That's what I thought of when I was writing about that happening. In the next segment, you got post-match. They see on the video board it's a possessed Rosemary chained up in the what looks like the flock boiler room, eerily singing, "You got a friend in me," while continuing to break out of the trance of singing and start screaming and pleading for help. But then she'd cut right back into singing. She looks like she's inside the Flock's clubhouse, obviously, like I was saying. So the Flock storm backstage looking for Rosemary, but she and Bagoo are nowhere to be found in the entire place, and the place looks completely untouched. And in the next segment,
Not allowed by Dane, of course, after what he did to Rulebook.
yeah, not a lot. This was a Chris Book segment. You could tell you'll tell very quickly it was a Chris Book segment. Dom. So, Tino Sabatelli is shown earlier in the day exiting the shower section of his locker room. From behind him emerges Summer Rae in just a towel. All of a sudden, you hear a whistle. Matt Marky walks up and says, "Sexual intercourse in the arena breaks the rules." And he scolds him. Simon Grimm is busy next to him, responding to a text. Matt Marky versus Tino is made for that evening's Nitro. Marky asked what the text was about. He said it was just a friend looking for help. And Marky says, "Excellent. So many broken rules, so little time." Before marching off, Simon Grimm just shrugs and slowly follows behind them.
End scene.
In the scene.
Here
We got
comes
our
Rhino.
next segment here. We got RINO backstage doing some more bullying. He's bullying Brother Grunt. He's sitting there. He's like, "You're so short. Your family must fucking hate you." Yeah, and they of course had to bleep that out. But
Just had to go straight for it there. He's like a 50-year-old man now at this point.
He's like, "Your family hates you. You are the disappointment of the whole entire family."
I don't know if that's true. His family's like inbred hillbilly.
Is this like David Spade from Father of the Year?
Yeah.
That's what I thought the reference was.
He's sitting there messing with him. And then Brother Ray interrupts and says, "If RINO wants to mess with Spike, then Big Brother comes a knocking and he's fixing to knock your ass out." And
scene.
And then we get our match. We have, obviously, if that was made earlier, we got Tino and Matt Marky. And it had great heat, good wrestling. Tino defeats Matt Marky. And it got a 66 overall.
But look at their performances. It was so good.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's very TEW-esque.
Math, dude. You add the 71, you add the 72, you divide by 2. Is it that hard? Apparently, very hard. Now, on the other hand, 63 and 83 make it an 81. I guess you can't complain too much. So.
Yeah, okay, I can deal with that one. Then great chemistry. I knew I chemistry, which is why I made that match.
Yeah.
Because I figured 2 ECW guys, that's gonna get me something.
Pile drove him, dude.
And RINO hit a pile driver on him to get the win there.
Had to go to the next segment. Dude, it's the dudes.
Oh, Dom, we got another fun one here. We got backstage, Trey Miguel and Desmond Xavier walking around, kind of stumbling around, laughing. They walk up to Zeta Zhang and they're like, "Hey, babe, why don't you come with us? We got something. We're going to go have some fun, and you can join in on the fun." She looks at him and laughs and says she's too good for them, but her Hollywood boyfriend would be happy to meet one of them in the ring tonight. End scene.
Hollywood boyfriend.
Oh, this is pretty
and
good.
That Hollywood boyfriend, Al Jones, would meet Desmond Xavier in a superb match. That got an 80. You got
Jones
Al
is
Jones
killing
beat Desmond Xavier. Al Jones had an in-ring performance of 84. Next segment.
That was really good for Al Jones, dude.
Really good for Al Jones. Al Jones is getting better each week. So, this is where FTR comes out. Obviously, coming fresh off the heel turn and whatnot. They come out to the ring, say they laid down the gauntlet last week for Great American Bash. Any tag team from any era, grow a set, meet them at the pay-per-view in an old school 2 out of 3 falls match for these WCW World Tag Team Championships. But they want to lay out an open challenge tonight for any tag team to come face them tonight for these tag titles. And with that, the Rock and Roll Express answer the call to a thunderous pop from the crowd.
Thunder.
I think he means a really loud Nitro pop.
It was a very Nitro pop.
73
match with two old folks.
I mean, FTR definitely carried them because, like, 56 in-ring performance compared to the 90s. Like, whew. But
excellent chemistry from both tag teams. Good.
Yeah, not bad. Casey McKnight really stood out. I knew he was the better of the two.
I was going to say it really helped that both FTR got 90s because it was 56 for both the Rock and Roll Express.
Oh, it's the Nitro.
It's the Nitro show. You got James Corden talking with the rest of YDMB, and they're just talking about things going on Nitro. They're talking about the NWO. They're talking about the rule book and what's going on there, and they're talking about actually Ellis Taylor, Griffin McCool are like, I honestly want to see what was going on underneath Summer Rae's towel. And then they started talking about Al Jones, and they're like, not Al Jones. And with that, they say YDMB are taking over, and that's how they end it.
Main event time, I think. Yep, here we go. Ooh, killed it with a bunch of 90s.
It is main event time. We got our 3-on-3 match, an exceptional match. Eddie Edwards, Rob Van Dam, and Humberto Garza defeat Davey Boy Smith Jr., Alexander Hammerstone, and Pac when Eddie pins Alexander Hammerstone with a cross-legged Fisherman Buster. RVD was the weak in the match. He got a 68.
I'm very worried to hit finish show or next because I have a bad feeling of what happened to RVD if he got a 68 performance, given everybody else had like 90s. So, you ready?
Let's have some fun here.
I guess he's in the clear. I guess RVD.
I guess he was just kind of just not feeling it.
But yeah, he was just a little sick. Pretty good show though. 81 got a plus 35 regions. See you guys going into Thunder now. All right, everybody, we are here for a Thunder. You guys ready for this one? Big announcement kicking off the show here. We see Johnny Ace and Cass XL right behind him in his office, and he's zooming. He's on a Zoom meeting because Zoom is still like the hottest thing in the world. Of course, it's 2021. The thing sadly did not die off, and he's zooming. The one and only Jim Cornette, who's standing there, but Walter's still behind bars. He said, Johnny, you've been a pain in my ass. Not only can Walter not make it to the show, he might not be able to make it to next week's show. But you know what, Johnny? I'm gonna change the spectrum of things. Next Thursday, we're gonna be live from this prison. We're gonna have our first ever prison show. We'll get all of the favorite people you love, Johnny, around at ringside. They'll be a little rowdy, and Cass, you're invited unless you're afraid. And why don't you come out? Maybe, you know what? Instead of fighting Walter, why don't you two team up next week? We'll find some of the biggest people in the prison for you guys to fight. It sounds like a plan. And Johnny, I know you've tried to overwrite this. I know you'll hate this, and I know you'll want to cancel this, but it's already set in stone. Paramount has gone and said that is a wonderful idea for prison reform. And Johnny, you can't get out of this, but you don't have to show up. I'll just let you guys determine it next week if you guys will even make an appearance. But Walter and I will be right here. Cutting next up after that, we see NetherRealm quickly destroying the hashtag 2 skinny dudes of Jordan Clearwater and Mark Andrews. As TK O'Ryan taps out Jordan Clearwater. And after that, Vampiro gets up from the announce table. He's got Darby Allin with him, but jumping the barricade is these two new men, the Whisper and 01. Vampiro cuts to the mic. He said, NetherRealm, NetherRealm, NetherRealm. Trust me. I'm getting a little too old for this, but I wanted to get some new youngsters, teach them some of my tricks, and well, Darby here, I know he could hold himself off against the likes of both of you guys, but you guys are some big dudes, so I think there's strength in numbers, and I think this is a brotherhood in paint here. Now, tell us, NetherRealm, you really stupid enough to make another move against me? And that's when NetherRealm slowly gets out of the ring, and they're just sitting there nodding as they walk back up the ramp. Following that, we see EC3 with Jake, Chris, and Dave Chris, but where's our boy Max instead of Cruz? Well, EC3 sitting there watching on live stream New Japan Pro Wrestling. He says that's our dude right there. Tonight, he's going one-on-one against the great Muda. And I'll tell you what, Max instead of Cruz, he's going to beat him, just like I'm going to beat him at the Great American Bash to retain my World Heavyweight Championship. Chris brothers, don't worry, you guys got it pretty easy tonight. Those young lions might be at ringside, and realistically we should probably be there in Japan right now, but I think we're needed right here in WCW, and I think he's got it all for himself. Following that, we have a big match here with Christian Casanova, Marco Stunt, and TJP. In the case of where Christian Casanova is able to defeat Marco Stunt here and tap him out, but after the match, Marco Stunt gets rescued as he's kind of wobbling by Yosuke Santa Maria, making her debut, coming down to the ring, checking on Marco. He kind of looks confused, but Yosuke Santa Maria picks him up and takes him back up the ramp. Following that, we have a big 4v4 match here, intergender match with the 40 Fizzy Orange people and Glam Sexico and Kyle Fletcher taking on Piper, Eddie Kingston, with, of course, the one and only Amazing Kong, Awesome Kong, at ringside with Milo, Toxic, and Maria Manic Eminem, of course. However, in the end, though, we see Piper pinning Jinx after hitting a Michinoku driver, but she doesn't get to celebrate too long as she gets attacked by Tennille Dashwood, and as Glam Sexico and Kyle Fletcher are trying to get Tennille off of her, we see Alberto, Patron, Angel Rose going and attacking the two of them and beating them down here tonight. After that, we cut to the prison where Warren Barksdale gets into the face of Walter. Walter knocks him down, straight up beats the crap out of him and hits him with a golden bomb. And all the other guards are trying to get Walter away and try to tase him and bring him out. But Buff Bagwell and Brian Pillman Jr. start brawling with the prison guards, Bruno Milani and Warren Barksdale. You know, he's trying to get Warren back up, but Bruno's fighting off Brian Pillman Jr. Joy Hollywood gets to the intercoms and he says, "You have 10 seconds to leave and get back in your cells, or else everybody here is going in solitary confinement." He starts counting down, but Walter and Buff Bagwell aren't making a move, and Brian Pillman's still battling out with Bruno until a couple guards bring him down to size. And once it hits the count of 10, both men, the big men, Buff and Walter, get hit with the tranquilizer dart and get carried off into solitary confinement. Following that, we have Austin Aries. See him in the ring running his mouth saying, "Yo, yo, yo, you forgot about me." But you shouldn't. You see, I've had a couple of step backs, but if there's one person in particular who knows things about stepping back and coming up ahead, I think it's going to be my opponent here tonight, Mr. Leo Rush. And let me step right over you as you take a step back once again and let it be my stepping stone going forward here. He absolutely killed it on the microphone there.
What a rush.
What a rush, Leo Rush. However, Austin Aries is able to defeat Leo Rush here with the last chancery, tapping him out. Then we go back to an undisclosed location where we have a cameraman on site. He's just kind of like tilting and wobbling there as he sees Nighthawk and Razorhawk guarding a car that Marty Scurll is seen inside of with Jim Cornette, and he hands him a piece of paper and he just starts laughing, the two of them, with their maniacal laugh, whatever is going on between them. Then in our main event, we have EC3 Champion versus Champion match taking on Sammy G. However, he gets the best of the Paramount Championship once he hits him with the Sweet Meat Sizzler. After the match, though, shockingly, he picks him up and he just shakes his hand and looks at Sammy G in the face with a bunch of respect for him. And that is how we end our show here. And we'll take you guys to the go home show right before Great American Bash. See you guys.